Hello everyone, my name is Zach Deloach and I'm the Safety and Compliance Manager for Pac-Van. Today we will be discussing personal protective equipment. The purpose of this program is to inform all employees of the hazards associated with the misuse or failure to use PPE, to ensure the safe use and handling of PPE, and to comply with OSHA standards. This program applies to all departments and positions that perform duties requiring the use of PPE. I am responsible for creating and maintaining this program. Branch and fleet managers are responsible for providing a copy of this program, training employees on specific PPE items, and verifying compliance with this program. You are responsible for wearing all required PPE, cleaning and maintaining assigned PPE, and reporting any issues with PPE to your supervisor immediately. The Workplace Hazard Assessment is a tool utilized to identify, describe, and mitigate hazards in each specific branch. I will complete the initial assessment, and branch and fleet managers will maintain it throughout the year. This plan will be posted where all employees can reference it. Hazards will be identified by reviewing OSHA injury logs, interviewing employees, and conducting a walkthrough survey. Once hazards are identified, we will apply the hierarchy of controls to mitigate them. We will first try to eliminate the hazard, then substitute it, then engineer a solution, then enact administrative controls such as training. Additional PPE requirements will be the last resort to mitigate the hazard. When selecting PPE, those making the decision should consider the following. You must know what hazards are present and what PPE is available to you. Then, you can identify the PPE that will best mitigate the hazard based upon your unique situation. Always select PPE that is at least one level above the minimum required protection. All selected PPE must be comfortable and well-fitting for each individual employee. This may mean that different employees have different brands or styles of PPE. Finally, ensure employees are provided with instructions on the correct use and care of each PPE item, as well as information concerning any manufacturer warnings or limitations of the PPE. If PPE is not cleaned and maintained regularly, there is a chance it will not function properly and may lead to employee injury. The employee to whom the PPE is assigned is responsible for inspecting, cleaning, and maintaining their PPE at regular intervals. If an employee discovers that their PPE is no longer serviceable, they must immediately stop work and bring it to the branch or fleet manager's attention. Employees will never conduct work with damaged or non-functional PPE. Branch and fleet managers are also responsible for monitoring the condition and stock of all PPE. Eye and face protection is required whenever there are risks of getting something in the eyes or face that may cause injury, such as metal shavings, chemicals, or vapors. For grinding, Pac-Van policy requires that all personnel wear goggles and a face shield to prevent eye injury. Hand and body protection must be worn when there is a risk of injuries such as cuts, burns, or chemical exposure. Examples of hand protection are gloves, while an example of body protection is a chemical-resistant vest. Head protection, such as a hard hat, is required when there is the risk of injury from impact, falling objects, electrical shock or burn, or any other type of hazard to the head. Pac-Van employees are most commonly required to wear a hard hat when they are working in the vicinity of scaffolding. Foot protection is required when there is a risk of crushing, standing water conditions, slick surfaces, or any other hazard to the feet. Either steel-toed boots or slip-on toe guards protect against crushing, while waterproof mud boots protect against standing water conditions. Traction slip-ons protect against icy surfaces. Hearing protection is required when there is a risk of damage to or loss of hearing. For additional information, consult the Pac-Van Hearing Protection Safety Program. Respiratory protection is required when there is a risk of damage to the respiratory system. Additional information is available in the Pac-Van Respiratory Protection Safety Program. Before being assigned to work that requires PPE, employees must be trained on and demonstrate that they understand when PPE is necessary, what PPE is necessary for each task, how to properly wear their assigned PPE, as well as the limitations of that PPE. Employees must also understand how to inspect, care for, and maintain their PPE. They should understand the useful lifespan of the equipment and how to properly dispose of it. Employees will be retrained anytime that there is reason to believe that an employee lacks the required knowledge, there is a change in the workplace, or there is a change in the required PPE. The bottom line is that Pac-Van employees will never perform work without the appropriate PPE. This PPE must be readily available to employees and maintained in good condition at all times. Employees will be retrained whenever a lack of knowledge is demonstrated, changes occur in the workplace, or changes occur in the PPE required for use. As always, this is not intended to be an all-inclusive training program. Employees should review the Personal Protective Equipment Safety Program in its entirety before submitting their training acknowledgement form. Please direct any questions or comments concerning this program to your supervisor or myself at the contact information listed on your screen. Thank you for your time and stay safe.